Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out 2-sentence horror. Story 1. The peeping Tom thought he was gonna get a great show after he saw a couple being frisky on the way into their house. He wasn't expecting the woman to slash her man's throat with a razor blade after she cuffed him to the bed. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 2. Daddy told me all the movies I have are works of fiction and I shouldn't let my imagination get too carried away. I looked at all the locks on my door that protect me and wondered when he was coming back so I could ask for more markers to draw the trees and animals from my movies. Story 3. Wadey shouldn't be doing that, said the worker at the amusement park. Then the ride started suddenly. Story 4. Today I had to work from home. I wish I wasn't a crime scene cleaner though. Story 5. Becoming a famous paranormal investigator for TV was always a dream of mine. I'm not sure why they keep making me take these pills, I'm just doing my job. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 6. We regret to inform you the job application email read that you have been offered a job to work 9 to 5 until you are too old to enjoy what little money you've set aside. Story 7. I watched through streaming tears as my daughter was put into the car sobbing and begging me not to let them take her, not to make her go. The rage and grief at having to send her back to an abusive home are crushing, and as I whisper that I'm sorry over and over, I wish that the American court system wasn't so irreparably broken. Story 8. In a well-equipped hospital, a dementia-stricken old man alone and dreaming of a truthful world where lying meant death woke up saying, "I bet our world would be wonderful if my dream was true." Suddenly, the sky roared, and thunder struck the bald old man, claiming the last life on the planet. Story 9. When the enemy snuck up on me, I quickly disarmed him and broke his neck. I regretted not dealing with my PTSD sooner as my wife lay lifeless on the kitchen floor. Story 10. The first spider crawled to my leg, then the second, then before I knew it I was covered. But there was nothing I could do, the drugs had just kicked in, I would be here for at least 4 more hours. Story 11. It looked just like an ordinary pimple. But when I popped it, I watched in horror as a miniature fetus squirted out and splattered against the bathroom mirror. Story 12. I was hit by a sudden bout of exhaustion during my date and the next thing I know I woke up in a bathtub full of ice. When I got to the hospital they took my x-rays to see what I was missing, only to discover that they had put something inside of me. Story 13. I'm scavenging in an abandoned lab when a syringe jabs my hand. My heart drops when I read its warning label, infectious substance prions, because I know I'm fucked. Story 14. The boy was too young to understand that gold is more valuable than coins. The SS officer chuckled to himself when he found the 5 gold teeth his son had stolen from his personal effects and put underneath his pillow for the tooth fairy to find. Story 15. Mission Control sent us to find habitable locations on this ocean planet and our sonar already detected an island. That's strange, floating islands don't move this fast. Story 16. 14F, got another one of those scam calls purporting to be my son in trouble. I guess the used iPad my aunt gave me was still paired to her number. Story 17. As I peeked inside the old hospital at the edge of town I froze. As I witnessed the monstrosity inside I realized why it was abandoned, and had a $1,500 fine for trespassing. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 18. I just watched unfazed how my little sister didn't want to eat her puree. I just looked at her trembling body in the basement as I thought that 2 months eating the same thing in a loop should have been more than enough to grow accustomed to eating the human flesh and blood crushed together without puking. Story 19. DEC23 all in on black, I yelled, pushing the large pile of chips forwards. Boy, won't my daughter be excited when she learns I've doubled her college tuition savings with the money I borrowed from her account. Story 20. Fuck, I wish everyone was me so they'd understand what I go through every day, I screamed, storming up to my bedroom and crying myself to sleep. Jolted awake in the middle of the night, the news warning of a spontaneous viral outbreak made me realize that I didn't consider how everyone would become me. Story 21. Everyone said I was the only one who could have raped that woman, so they locked me in prison. But after the baby wiped out everyone in the maternity ward within 20 minutes of being born, I think I'll probably be declared innocent. Story 22. Investigating the story of the young woman who was rescued by dolphins, my inquiries were met with variations of no comment and go away. Things started to make sense when one witness intimated that the victim was a virgin when she went overboard. Story 23. I gently opened the door to my friend Sayora's room. She told me that when she was feeling down, she liked to practice tying nooses. Story 24. I looked at my cracked phone screen in horror. It was bleeding. Story 25. I wanted to be just like Houdini growing up, so I decided to practice some of his tricks. As my partner screamed, I wondered why I didn't hear the bullet he fired. Story 26. Driving down a back road, I squinted through the fog illuminated only by streetlights and a lonely "your speed" sign. I considered why the city would set up a radar speed monitor on such a quiet road when the glowing numbers jumped to 83 miles per hour. Story 27. When the Vampire King fell into his trap, the Crusader felt as if he was immortal, like he could take on the world. The world decided he would look better as a donut. Story 28. As I reached blindly into my private drawer to grab my toy, I felt the vibration in my hand. It wasn't until I pressed it against myself that I realized it was my husband's electric clippers. Story 29. Me and my wife had an argument yesterday over the local butcher's shop we both run. I could tell the kids enjoyed their roast beef I cooked for dinner, as then they asked, "Where's mommy?" Story 30. How could you have done that to our child? Screamed my boyfriend, holding my medical records in one hand and a gun in the other. He pulled the trigger before I had the chance to explain that spontaneous abortion was just the medical term for a miscarriage. Story 31. Goo goo gagoo ga, my baby said. My heart sank when I realized the goos and gas spell out "I am stuck, help" in Morse code. Repeat and repeat. Story 32. I looked at myself dancing with my wife. I don't have a mirror, nor have a phone on my hands. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 33. Your dog is harmless, ma'am. He couldn't kill a fly and so certainly not a human, reassured me the smiling veterinarian. Another useless puppy I'd have to feed chocolate, did I think, disappointed. Story 34. My depression was getting worse, so my mom bought me a kitchen knife to cheer me up. She placed it on my neck, and I told her I'd be a happy little puppet for her from now on. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 35. When Grandpa died, Mommy cried a lot. He's back now, so why is she still crying? Story 36. I entered the concentration camp desperately praying to God to save me from the suffering I was about to endure. It was with a sense of déjà vu at the moment of my execution I remembered God's words, "This is not the end, you will be reborn again as each of those whose lives you've meaningfully touched." Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 37. As we were driving down the road, I smiled at my kids in the rear-view mirror and asked them if they enjoyed the movie. It was enough to distract them from the broken pier ahead of us. Story 38. You have never seen your classroom so still, nor your class so well behaved. 30 faces swivel to face you as you enter, 30 sets of eyes fill with fear and confusion, and one exact copy of you already stands at the blackboard. Story 39. Carol grinned confidently as Maury read the results. "When it comes to 6-month-old Michael David, you are the father." But her grin quickly disappeared as Maury continued, "And when it comes to 6-month-old Anthony, David, you are not the father." Story 40. While we can't let them roam free range due to concerns about them wandering off or being attacked by predators, we find that as little as an hour or two out of their cage helps our little ladies produce better quality eggs. Since they only produce one egg a month, you need to make sure that it's a good one. Story 41. As she twirls around in the room in her new dress, I mimic her movements carefully. Tomorrow, I will be on the other side of the mirror. Story 42. I feel content as all the soldiers who massacred my village lie dead on the ground, my bloody hands feel numb from machete swings. The numbness grows all over my body on the ground, and I just realize that all the enemy soldiers are still laughing. All the revenge I made is my last dream before death. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 43. My girlfriend and I were searching the night sky above for any sign of the Leonid meteor shower when I spotted a pair of glowing orange eyes watching me from the nearby woods. A meteor lit up the night as the massive beast those eyes belonged to charged out of the tree line, and let loose a primal roar that still haunts me to this day. Story 44. I put my wife through college. She called one night, asking to be picked up after class, and I guess I'd had one too many to drink, because I smashed right into her and didn't stop until the other side of the liberal arts building. Story 45. DEC-23 Tommy said to his friend, I double dog dare you to ding dong ditch old Mr. Jones. The top news story that night was of a young boy shot to death by his elderly neighbor in self-defense. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 46. My sleep paralysis demon awoke me from my slumber. You should get ready for what's coming was all that he told me before disappearing. Story 47. They say insanity is reliving the same things and doing the same things every day. The real insanity is not being able to do anything about your situation, seeing as I've been stuck in this cellar for the last 300 years. Story 48. I hate snowstorms, they always make me anxious that someone might harm me. Due to this paranoia, I didn't notice how warm I was getting until it was too late. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.